is like, hey, we also want this amount per year, not just for maintenance, but for expanding according to, like, you'd have to do like surveys of the average amount of digital consumption per person in the community, and then like look at
No, you
rates.
just tell them what's what. They deal with it.
No, scientifically built policy, for fuck's sake. It is the year of our Lord 2025. There is no reason we should just be doing vibes-based government.
What's wrong with
I
vibes
can't
based
think of why
government?
not.
I can
Seems
understand
pretty
why
valid to
people
me.
were doing vibes-based government in like the 1700s, but we've seen where that's gone.
We're doing vibe based government right
well,
now.
Well, hold up. It's not vibes-based government anymore. It's market-based government. If we go back to vibes-based government, then maybe we're good.
Yeah. What is it?
Maybe that's all we need.
We need a government based on moral vibeness for a better world. That's what we need.
Can we at least get some scientific study in there?
I mean,
I mean, you can do one if you really need to, but
morally just, I think, is fair.
Oh, yes.
but it's like when you conduct the ethical review of your coal mining company, and you're like, "Yep, we're doing a great job."
I don't get the joke.
They don't actually do ecological reviews on whether or not they're harming the environment. They just say they did.
Oh.
Or they do one, and then they look at the results and say, that's crazy. I made $13 billion this year. I'm just going to keep doing it.
You know,
Oh.
I was taught, one of my friends, his sister and her husband, they do the ecological surveys, and I pointed that out, and he was like, well, aren't you glad at least someone does it? And I was like, yeah, but I mean,
But like,
they don't
is it
care.
helping?
I mean, honestly, I think it would be better if that money was spent revitalizing those areas instead of like, you know what I mean? Like, you're charging a gas company $1 million to check out the damage they're gonna do. I don't care about that. Okay, the average person doesn't care about that. I want that $1 million for when they're done to come plant trees, fix the water, make sure, because you're not
Fuck it, you guys are gonna screw everything up. At least like put some of that money back into it.
exactly.
The money that you were
Replant.
already gonna spend.
Exactly. It's like, oh, they contaminated the soil and water. Okay, so how do we fix it? Like, they're gonna do, so how do we fix it? Right? We have all this technology. Do we plant trees? Do we have to like rebuild the soil in layers of clay and sand so it becomes oil sand, which I don't remember what it's called, but there's a name for it.
Tar sands and stuff.
Tar sand, yeah. Do we need tar sand? Oh, they're mining gold. There's arsenic. Okay, arsenic's naturally occurring anyway. What does that mean? Like, what do we have to put in place for the plants or whatever to absorb that arsenic so the ground's not contaminated anime?ore?
Right, and that's the kind of thing I mean when I say like scientifically derived management, because I would argue that like the ecological review, yes, they're using scientists for it, but it's built on vibes. It's a feel good policy as opposed to a effective policy, because science is a tool, just like a gun.
Right, but people think science is a new religion.
You do your scientific review of the townspeople and what they want. I'm sorry, I'm doing it again. I realize that I'm going down the same path.
What path? I'm confused.
The path that leads to violence.
Oh. Right, but that's all I am saying is I agree that you gotta correct the vibes. Then once you have the vibes corrected, you gotta be able to be like, look, we've like built things methodically, we can show you our work, and you can have an actual discussion about it. It's not like I'm saying, well, a guy who wrote a book 200 years ago said it needs to be this way, so we're doing it that way.
Well, yeah, we're gonna write the book now.
Exactly.
Okay, I get what your program.
And
I
part
still
of
don't
that,
want everybody to have a
hey,
vote.
know your fucking work.
Do it old school. You have to be a landowner to have your vote count. Like, you can come to the council meetings and like say your issues, but if you don't own land, you can't say anything. Like,
A landowner and a verified IQ.
oh,
You have to be smart enough to vote.
Nah, the IQ test is bull. We'd have to.
Okay, but
we'd
like
have to
we
come
can
up with a test.
we can find an IQ test that is not bullshit. Or maybe not even an IQ test. Like, what's your basic intelligence level at? Are you intelligent enough to make decisions?
you know,
Great.
I don't think it would
Here's
be
a
too.
ballot.
I don't think it'd be too hard. I think you would just have to take like an American like political test. Like, what is a governor? What is a township? You know, why does the Constitution matter? Name me 3 amendments
Yeah,
that aren't the Bill of
end
Rights.
of course review.
Yeah, like just basic.
Are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Yeah, what does it mean to
If
be
we
a
get-
responsible citizen? Like, you know.
But if we get into that, then we're getting into taxation without representation, which is a
Oh,
fundamental issue. Yeah,
I don't
it-
represent the stupid.
Also, there's
like,
nothing in
you're-
our government that specifically says no taxation without representation. Obviously, because the way it currently goes. So, I mean,
Yeah, that was just like a kind of Vide policy.
Right, but I'm just saying that if we build something, if there are laws affecting you, you have the ability to affect those laws.
right. But first, we have to
I'll
make
tell
sure
you
you're a
what.
responsible citizen.
Here's what we'll do. We'll do this. Oh,
Right,
what's
so
the
you're
name of that
saying that-
movie?
I don't think I think landowning isn't necessarily the best option because
Hold on. I have the perfect solution. The final solution, perhaps, if I may.
If you may.
Here's what we do, right? We build 2 townships next to each other, right? And they have a little demarcation line between them. So if you're in my township, you have to follow these rules, and if you're in your township, you have to follow these rules, right? And then after like 10, 15 years, we see who's doing better. And then we can definitively say, oh, well, you see, this way is better because, or this way worked out better, and we actually don't know why because, you know, none
what's
of
your
the policies we thought would matter did matter. It was this one stupid little thing we wrote in that ended up making a huge difference.
Which is funny.
What's your metric for doing better though? Because
It can't be cash.
there's hunter-gatherer. Well, I'm saying there's hunter-gatherers in Papua New Guinea that are fighting the Indonesian government because they don't want to live the way the Indonesian government tells them to. Like, they're a small population, but they're in their area. They've been there for thousands of years, and they're just chilling. Like, what's your definition of better?
Let's go with
I'd say-
overall happiness, which I grant you, it's a hard thing to measure.
I mean, if we go
I mean,
by
we got 10, 15 years to figure it out, right?
if we go by overall happiness, we should copy the Danish.
Oof,
They
no,
keep
hold on,
scoring
hold on.
high.
talk about final solutions. Like, there's a reason the
we'll
Danes are
measure
so
that.
happy. There's only Danes there. A bunch of cousins living in one country. Jorgensen. Ugh, Jesus. Might as well just go to where is it? West Virginia. I bet they have a real high happiness
Oh, my.
index too.
No, exactly.
So-
What I'm saying is that differing.
Hold on, I wasn't finished. But there's more metrics.
Okay.
Intelligence, measured by the same test, or maybe not the same test, but like, you know, a consensually agreed upon, like, no, not consensually, like, you know, as a consensus, we've all come to the agreement that this is the test. Like, this is how we know whether or not you're an intelligent person. I'm not talking about for voting, I'm just talking about, like, in general. Are your kids learning in school? You know, are you teaching them in school?
Do you feel comfortable
Type deal,
having
you know?
kids?
How's your education system working? That's a big one. And then, obviously, poverty levels. Is everybody broke? Can everybody afford to live? And then, what's the other one that really matters? Food. Does everybody have enough to eat?
So
Is there
what,
access?
what if I build a culture where education is scorned and all that matters is being happy and making money?
America? What?
Well, yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid right now.
Like,
But if that's what you really want to do, then, I
just
mean,
go to Baltimore.
good for you. but all of your people are stupid, and when they try to look elsewhere for other opportunities, they're going to fail.
Okay, but what if we have more guns?
Well, your people are stupid and don't know how to use them.
Yeah.
Ergo, you lose the war.
Skills is not necessarily part of how you measure intelligence.
Practical skills and strategy are two different things. If our townships go to war, I might have fewer people with guns, but if my people are smarter about how to use them, then
yeah, it's
you
like
might point and shoot real
it's like
well,
the average
but that's it.
infantryman has like a higher GT score than expected or something like that. It's in the U.S.
are
Army.
not stupid.
Yeah.
This is why I preach to my people that God wants them to produce as many children as possible, so I can send wave after wave of men into your machine gun fire.
But I think I win on the basis of moral, because the Japanese, nobody who's ever played that game has ever been the good guy.
Yeah, how's it
Nobody
going for
who's ever said, let's just throw people at this problem until it solves itself has ever been the good guy.
Whoa. Morals are relative. My God says it's honorable to die for the commune.
No history book in the history of ever has that guy as the good guy.
So you're just starting a cult.
Chinese history would disagree.
Exactly, starting a cult.
Well, the rest of the free world would say that the Chinese are very, very misguided.
Just a little bit.
No, the rest of the free world says Chinese money's just as good as American money.
Oh, that is a lie. As a person who it is not in no way, shape, or form. Chinese money is not. No way. Did you know you cannot cash out? The only money you can take out of China is the amount of money China will let you. So you could be a billionaire in China, but if they only let you take 10 grand out at any one time, it means nothing unless you're in China.
I think he meant the market. Everybody buys from China.
Everyone bought slave labor from China. They no longer have slave labor. They're moving to Vietnam, Cambodia, those other places. Sweatshops are king.
The point was, China owns, I think, 2/3 of the world's debt.
Yeah, they do, which is not a good thing.
So, it's not... You are technically correct, but she is mostly correct.
If the rest of the world just says, yeah, we're not going to do something. Because the whole point of having, like the way nations have debt with each other is like, okay, if you're a nation, I'm a nation, you owe me money. And I say, hey, you got to pay up. And you say no. That gives me what is it? Cassius Belli to come and invade you. All right? That's one of the things that kicked off with, I think, the Suez Canal? Someplace told their country that they owed money to get bent, and then that country invaded them. I want to say it was England, because it sounds like something they would do. Maybe it's the French.
Oh yeah, those kinds of wars were pretty common in the 1800s.
Yeah, that's where that debt comes from. It's
and you wonder why nobody recalls their debt anymore.
Right. I think
for the record, I was just playing devil's advocate, because it's not like we're actually trying to build a society here.
Oh, no.
Watch me.
It's just a fun little discussion.
Yeah.
I'll say, but we all got to get 50 grand. Let's do this. Buy Opal.
Yeah. Okay. There's a big issue with that, and it's that I spend my money.
Oh, I know.
But if you saved up 50 grand for me, then I'm in.
What are you gonna do for me for 50 grand?
I will give you the sloppiest toppy.
I am allegedly very good at blowjobs.
50 grand, I'm gonna start a harem, huh? No offense.
For 50 grand?
I think I'll pick something else. Only thick native women.
For 50 grand?
Start a new tribe.
You'd have to pry me off of you.
You have to pay me to stop.
Ijo gets it.
You're not streaming, right?
Oh, we're 100% streaming. This is great.
We're streaming?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You didn't hear me say, hey, chat, we're just sitting here talking about BS.
No, I didn't hear that.
You guys are too busy arguing about...
For fuck's sake, you gotta give me a warning.
Nah, that was great.
I mean,
I'm keeping that one for the shorts.
I wouldn't take back a single thing I said.
All have to say is, to the government agents listening, I do not actually get that kind of action. I wish I would pay my taxes on it. I'd report every cent.
To the government agencies that are listening, if you want to give me 50 grand, I will do you so dirty. Oh my God. I wish you could get the kind of action that I would give you for 50 grand.
Is it considered a bribe if you offer to suck off an IRS agent?
I don't think it's a bribe. I think it's got to be something.
Well, think about it, because technically they didn't impeach Clinton because he got a blowjob. They impeached Clinton because he lied about it. So, technically.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd suck off Trump. He's too old. There's not enough money for it.
Well, there's definitely enough money.
Absolutely enough money.
There's definitely enough money.
There's definitely enough money.
And as he would say...
And I do not have enough morals to say no.
Is he really going to pay you $1 million, though?
He's got a beautiful penis, the best penis.
The greatest penis.
Greatest penis ever. Ask Stormy Daniels. She came back for free.
No.
I didn't get mad about it. My wife didn't get mad about it. It's a good penis.
I don't know.
Oh,
I figure you got to be in like +5 or -5 my age group.
Oh.
No.
You know,
There's money.
To maybe 40.
Now, is it a realistic amount of money? No. But billionaires don't care about realistic amounts of money.
Exactly.
They care about... I'm
So
not
you
even
just
saying
don't
that.
want him to fall in love with you. Admit it. You want?
I
you
will
want
never say no to an inheritance.
Sugar mama? That's
Yeah.
right.
I'm telling you. Let me tell you something. In not even like a wildly different timeline, in just like a slightly different timeline, I would have been the best stripper this side of the Mississippi. I would have been famous.
Down over at Chippendales, getting that money.
And then it's a very short step from like high quality stripper to Black Widow. Like
never too late. I'm just saying.
Just banging people left and right and collecting inheritances? Are you kidding me? Well, I'm married and I have a kid, so I'd have to pay child support, and like 50% of $30 billion, that's not a good deal.
You just get your wife in on it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You got to hit her with the, we need this. We need this.
Exactly.
You want that nice
and
car?
you can-
We need this.
You can even tell her on she's not the one sucking dick, it's you sucking dick.
Exactly.
I already tried.
You know, as
Let
my
me tell
wife
you
says, 20% up front. Like,
I happen to find myself in a nicer establishment while I was in Europe, and there were a significant amount of older people from both generations. I was like, hey Sam, look, you gotta let me do this. You gotta let me. What if we inherit a castle?
exactly.
There's more castles in Germany than there are McDonald's in America. Please let me do this.
People are like, we get to live in a castle.
So many little blue pills.
So see, this was something we were talking about earlier, where there's villages in Italy that you can basically, as long as you can find who owns the property technically and they sign it off to you, the village is abandoned. So you can get property for really fucking cheap and own your own village, but then you have to be in Italy.
France is the same way. France, they've got a couple.
There's little towns like that all over Europe.
Yeah, they're
But-
just abandoned. The U.S. is going that way too. There's a town between me and you that the state will pay for you to go live in because they need people living there because it's like the only gas station on that highway.
So what I'm hearing is we all get work from home jobs and move there.
Well, then he's going to man the gas station.
Yeah,
Well,
build the infrastructure. We're gonna have to open a
Kids need
restaurant,
jobs, okay?
gas station. You know, we could do one.
Exactly.
Oh,
If your wife starts the restaurant, you have your kids work in the restaurant.
All I'm saying here is,
Morningstar's kid can run the gas station.
hey,
What?
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
Sorry, I just got.
Look, if you have a different suggestion, say it. Like post office
We-
worker. What are we talking about?
We can name
No, I
the
love it,
gas
but people
station
will-
the Underground Railroad.
Look, then we
All I'm saying
we
is,
buy
I already
as
tried
much
pitching
property as
the.
possible, and we start selling it super cheap to like anyone who can pass a psychological stability test.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm just saying, there's a bunch of homeless people, and a lot of them have good skills. You know, maybe all they need is a fucking like mood stabilizer, then they just can't afford it. Well, fuck. We get a pharmacy, they get their pills, they run well, steel mill is a little old school these days, but you know what I mean. There's plenty of perfectly functional people out there that just hit a big pothole in their life.
All I'm saying is, I already tried to go the Black Widow route with my wife, and she shut that shit down fast.
Right, well, this isn't the Black Widow plan anymore. This is the start our own town plan.
Yeah, but how are we going to get the startup money? Somebody has to make a sacrifice, and I'm willing to be it. Ready and willing.
Jesus, is that even a sacrifice at this point?
Shut up. Yes, it is. I have to sound noble.
But yeah. On a slightly serious note, like Keith, I get what you mean about like needing to make sure people are invested in a community before they can change it. And
That's fair.
I just don't think landowning is necessarily the best route for that. I don't know the best route. That sounds like something you'd need a long ass discussion on. Because as it turns out, politics is difficult.
Well,
I think there are multiple steps in that process, but landowning is definitely one of them. There's a reason that has been the metric for literally thousands of years.
yeah, I didn't really care about
People
politics
who
until I
paid
bought
for-
property. Because when you
The
pay your
people who
taxes,
pay
it'll
for
piss
and
you off.
own and work on the land are who are generally some of the most invested.
Right, but like, let's take me for example. I rent. That would get rid of my ability to vote, but I still pay taxes.
So
I'm not gonna pay taxes if I can't vote. I'm not gonna pay taxes.
Well,
I'm not saying landowning
Right.
should be the only metric.
But you have to
However,
remember
it should be considered.
the taxes that you're paying are taxes that are taxed on like food products and things like that. Your sales tax,
And
your income taxes, those items, right? If like I have to pay property tax, I have to pay road tax and these other taxes that are attached to me owning land. And then when I go and my roads are screwed up, I'm upset because I'm like, you guys just charged me, $1,000 this year for roads. Why do I have potholes? Right? That's where the metric, I think, issue comes in. A lot of people who don't own the property don't see their taxes and the amounts that they're actually being taxed. Now, if
maybe non-landowners only get 3/5 of a vote. That's a solution nobody's tried.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Nope, not at all. Nope, haven't tried
It's
that
okay,
one.
Chad. I can say that because I'm black.
Right, Chad's like, "Whoa, my God, what are they doing?" It's like, no, nobody on the chat is.
Chat doesn't say shit.
Every once in a while, we'll get a random like person that just like, what was it last time where they're just in being ridiculous. But.
Or somebody who just like sits in it to like just hear somebody talk in the background, and then they hear that and like, what did I just hear?
Right, it's like nobody in
Wait
here
a
is
minute.
normal.
Right, but I'm still getting taxed to maintain both, like my city, the state, and the federal. So I get to vote in all three layers of elections.
Okay,
That's all
so
I'm saying.
what if it would be this way? What you would be taxed is deducted from the person who owns the property's tax.
Ooh.
Which would be ironic because it would turn most apartments into tax havens for all intents and purposes, which would increase the number of apartments around, which would drive down the cost of apartments.
So here, let me try and figure out if I'm hearing you properly. You're saying that my landlord. So you're saying I would get no taxes.
Right.
No,
And
you would pay taxes.
No, I'm saying instead. So let's say if you didn't have the right to vote, then but you live in an apartment, your landlord's taxes would be reduced by the tax you would pay.
So your landlord is okay. So this is more of a feudal system, if I've understood it correctly, because now your landlord is interested in what you want.
Exactly.
Because if he doesn't meet your needs, then you're going to go live in a different apartment building,
And
where your landlord actually does what you want him to do.
Right. It would probably
So now
look
your
close.
landlord cares about what you want. So we've broken it down. The township is now the federal, and each apartment complex is its own state. Is what you've. We created the same exact system. It's just built a little bit differently.
It would look more like the German and not the French or British. Like, one of the things people forget is the German. Is it the peasant? Serf. I don't remember the name of the Germans' feudal system, but the peasants had way more rights than the average serf in the area, right? They had the right to withhold taxes. They had the right to petition their liege, their lord above their current lord if they weren't doing what they're able. They had the right to leave their lord's land if their lord wasn't taking care of them. A lot of the tenets of government that we have that came from the Germans specifically has to do with those rights, and that's also where you get that no taxation without representation. That comes from that time period. The issue is we'd have to figure out, like, if you still get the right to vote and you don't own property, okay, what's in it for you, right? Because there's no kickback, right? If you're like, well, I want free food, my taxes are paying. I pay taxes, now I want free food, right? That's the problem we're running into. It's like, no, the taxes are there for your roads, your water, your police force, your government. That's what the taxes are for. And a lot of times, the people who are not paying the property, or who don't own property, seem to have an issue connecting those two items. That the money they're paying is not just for the state to hold to give back to them later. That's where I think in the modern society, it's where we have.
I think that's more of an educational issue than, like, that's more of a cultural and educational issue, because, like I said, I take a lot of care when I vote. I look at how does it affect my community? How does it affect where I live? Because just because I'm in an apartment doesn't mean I'm not physically here.
You're close. It's not a cultural issue, it's an educational issue.
I think I just said that. I think I
No,
said,
she didn't say that.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So then
I did not hear the word educational.
Then it comes back to the test. So then
right. So at that point, it might just have to be. I'm just trying to think of how do you do this without creating mass disenfranchisement. Like, you need to create, in my opinion, avenues that make it not easy is the wrong word, because if you use the word easy, that's like it should be. Ugh. See, this is where I'm running out of vocab.
What if
I'm like, the artificial barrier should not be one of arbitrariness, but one that anyone who puts in the time and effort can potentially surpass. You get what I mean? Because it's a matter of showing commitment.
Service guarantee citizenship?
Okay, hear me out. I hear what you're saying, Misha. And I think I definitely understand Ball's point. I'm pretty sure I get Ijo's point. Both of what you're saying are very similar to absolutes. Like, everybody doesn't have a vote right now. Like, not everybody has a vote. That's just true. But also, lots of stupid people have votes. People who don't really have an interest or care or know about what's going on. Lots of those people have a vote. Finding a system that melds both of those together, that allows informed voting but also equal voting, is not a system that people have been chasing that form of government for thousands of years.
Could it be as simple as just it's not a pop quiz, but just a quiz before you can vote about the issues of each election?
Well, with modern technology, I don't see why it's not just something you can take on your phone. Like, hey, you want to vote this? And I'd almost do it like like a license renewal, right? Like you take the test, you get 4 years because law changes so much and politics and stuff change so much, right? So you do it on your phone or at your computer or at your leisure. Fuck, go look up the Sparks notes and take the test, right? But it's a test. It's online. You take it. You get the pass. You get a little ticket on your ID, and for those 4 years, you can vote. At the end of 4 years, you have to take it again.
Let me tender my solution. Like, this is an actual thing that could be done. Probably not realistically in the world we live in today, but is to never stop education. We graduate high school at 17, 18, 19, right? And then we're done, sent off into the world. Instead of having that 12-year education system that is very intensive, very stressful, and not great, I don't see why we don't extend it. Let's take that educational system and extend it across your lifetime. Every single person. What's up? What? I went 3-1. Yeah.
I was gonna say at least you don't have PTO Monday, but you gonna have a day off.
Nope. I have a day off.
Hey, at least you don't have to work tomorrow.
At least I don't have to work tomorrow. All those boys in the Califax are gonna be sucking.
I think
Fuck, where was I?
I was just gonna say that I like mix because I think
Continued
my main
education
goal
throughout
here
life.
is avoiding disenfranchisement, and so I think Keith, I think you're going in the right direction because the more fluid you make it, because what I don't want, the thing I absolutely want to avoid is you fail some tests when you're fucking 18 and now you're fucked. You're not a member of society, like, maybe. Like, I'm trying to avoid crash outs out of society. I want, if somebody's able to participate in society effectively, I want them to be in society. And that means having the education that teaches critical thinking, having the repeated chances to be able. That's why I'm like, if you have a quiz before independent elections, fine. Maybe I get drunk, I don't research an election, I fail that quiz, I can't vote in that election. But, then I'm like, shit, okay. So then the next one, I don't get drunk, and I do a little more research, and I pass the quiz, and I can vote in that election. I'm not fucked forever from one day of being drunk.
Right. The other thing is there needs to be no charge for the tests. Like, they have to be free.
Yeah.
And I do think you should be able to take it more than once, right? Like, you can take it as many times as you want. It's free, right? You just need to pass. It changes every time you take it, right? So you're not, like... and it's all going to be roughly the same stuff, but because, there's only so much within the political sphere of what it means to be a responsible citizen in X, Y, and Z. But,
right.
Having the test automated, having the test easily accessible, also at all government centers, there's a paper one to take. If you're homeless and you want to vote, you come in, you take the paper test. If you pass, you're welcome. Go, punch your ticket and go about your business. But yeah. I'm not worried about the barrier to entry as a system that you would set up, because any responsible government body would make sure that their citizens have the ability to take the test and to be able to vote. One of the things I think we run into now within our current political sphere in society is they don't want people to vote. They only want their people to vote, not the other people to vote. And so they build these weird barriers. Like, one of the things that pisses me off is the whole voter ID thing. Stop saying people of my general color are going to be disenfranchised. We all have IDs. What the hell are you smoking? Like, this is not 1865. All right? I'm not on a contraband list. Like, right? This is like, I can go vote. What are you talking about? Oh, the voting center is really far away. Okay. If that's the case, fine. That can be a valid argument. Put a drop box or a voting center at the school in the area. I get it. There's haulers in the back in the middle of nowhere. Right? But, back in the day, those people used to walk down into the major towns or ride a horse or get a buggy if they wanted to vote. So I don't get it, right? Just, you give the people the ability to do it. I think election day should be federal holidays, all businesses are closed, and if you're open, you're going to take a very heavy fine. And if at any point you deny one of your employees the ability to go vote, it's a criminal charge. I don't care if it's the manager or whoever. You're going to jail because you're violating a person's ability to vote. Like it's stuff
You
like
should
that.
have to like exactly, and I'm getting into the nitty gritty here a little bit, but it should be like either you have to demonstrate that you are a necessary thing for your community, like, well, I'm the only grocery store within 50 miles or whatever. 50 miles is a big fucking number. You get what I mean.
Yeah.
Or something like that. But even then, it should be
This is
okay.
the fire department. This is EMS.
But then it has to be okay. Well, in that case, you have to give people, their hour to go and vote. And if you work EMS, you get to go to the front of the fucking line, or something like that. But the point is, yeah, exactly. I think we all have the same goal of avoid disenfranchisement, and we're trying to create a responsible voter base is the main point. And I think that Morningstar really hit the money with never-ending education somehow, because this is the other thing. Intelligence is not universal. All of us in this chat are, I would say, decently we're capable of critical thinking, but we also are probably idiots about various things. And it's the same way you can have an extremely skilled heart surgeon who has gone through, a shit ton of school and has gone.
Who doesn't
through
know when the War of 1812 happened?
Exactly.
Probably true.
Like we've had people run for president who have done very impressive things in some fields, and then you ask them about something incredibly basic, and they have the most batshit concept you've ever heard. So, in my mind, the teaching critical thinking and creativity, which are both things you can teach, because at that point, most people should be able to grasp those concepts. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they're basic. It's a basic human thing. I think what would be interesting if you set up systems like that. There's a lot of people right now who don't understand like the current governmental system, and so when they would go in to take the test and fail, and then try to have it removed politically instead of just learning and taking the test. I think the other thing with having continuing education all the time, because I think Iraq did that, because I met a lot of doctors there who were not doctors anymore.
Yes, they, yeah.
But like one of the big problems we face here in the U.S. is that there's political indoctrinations in schools. I think schools should have a very heavy separation of church and state, and it has been failed because people, political movements should be viewed as religious, groupings. Whether or not they actually have a diocese and a group doesn't matter. If they're all pushing the same thing, then it should be counted as a religion, right? Or a religious ideology.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of the times.
Sorry, Keith, I interrupted. Keep going.
Oh no, I was just saying like a lot of the times the thing we're running into now is indoctrination over education. I think that's like one of the reasons we're having so many problems. Like just teach basic stuff, right? It should be all academic, right? If you want to do ethics and morality and political, like ethics and morality and pushing towards a certain political bias, that needs to be outside of schools or in environments where it's like, hey, like there needs to be like an instruction and a disclaimer, because right now it's being folded into everything else. Like if I'm taking math, right, why do I have to write an essay on ethics? And like I had to do that when I was in college. It's stupid. I have an ethics class for that. Let the guy who is a degree in ethics teach that class, right? It's that kind of stuff.
So, to bounce off of that, oh god, what was I gonna say? I had a thing. It was right in my. God damn it. It's. Oh yeah. So that's what I meant when I meant vibes-based politics versus scientific-based politics. Because, again, science is a tool like a gun. How you use it, it's like statistics. People say, look at the statistics. And my first question is, what was your methodology? Because it's a tool. Like, what methodology you choose changes the results half the time. It's even the simple question of, are you looking at the median or the mean? And So, like you said, ideologies are often, they function like religions. Like, let's look at, for example, Marxist-Leninism. If you debate with someone who, like, at least every time I've had a political discussion with someone who calls themselves a Marxist-Leninist,
Right.
their reaction isn't, oh, well, we have this study and this event and we have these results that we can scientifically measure, and objectively you and I can look at the same numbers and see the same result. Instead, their answer is, well, go read Marx and go read Engels and go read this essay Lenin wrote. And I'm like, well, I don't, how did Lenin, what was Lenin's methodology? How did he get to that conclusion? Like, no, he read Marx, and then he was paid by the Germans to go overthrow the government, and he did. And so, I don't give a shit what Lenin wrote. I don't give a shit what Marx wrote. At least Marx was slightly more interesting in that, you know, he was observing the Industrial Revolution in England mostly, and making, trying to make conclusions off of it. At the very least, he tried to take a mildly scientific approach, but he's also limited to his observations of his time. So I'm like, and you see the same thing with a lot of modern politics, both in the Republican and Democratic sides here in the US, of, oh, well, this guy wrote a paper and we're going to go by what he wrote. And I'm just like, okay, but we have X, Y, and Z studies that show that that isn't effective, at least not in our culture.
Pause. How many Marxist-Leninists do you know?
Like, know as people? Not very many. Have encountered in life? Like, Jesus, probably in like the dozens at this point.
Okay, that's all. Carry on. I had to wait for you to take a breath. You're very long-winded.
I'm sorry. You can always
No.
interrupt me. You can always.
You're good.
When you said pause, I stopped.
Yeah, I just wanted to, like, wait for a natural pausing point, you know? I wasn't going to interrupt you mid-sentence.
I know I tend to ramble. Does anyone want to say anything?
I was going to say one of the things that a lot of people who don't know about post-grad education and academics is the vast majority of those papers are garbage. Absolute garbage. As a person who's wrote a couple myself, like when people are like, oh, you know, it was a post-grad research doctorate. It's like that. Guys, no, read them. Like
some places do really good postgraduate research.
Just because
not all of them, but you know,
you've got what? You got about
devil's advocate. Sorry,
2,500 universities in the United States, something like that, right? You've got a metric ton of them, right? And you've got hundreds of people writing about the same subjects and trying to find new material, okay? Roughly, right? Most of the time, if you go and check their sources, they're second and third hand sources. They're not first hand sources. And when you get to the end and you actually read them, 9 times out of 10, they say, the data here is inconclusive. We do not have a large enough test body or X, Y, and Z. The vast majority of them say that. So when people cherry pick out of a research paper, you know, they fail to read that last summary and analysis where the people writing them go, hey, this is what we found. However, this is a small sample. Or, you know, we haven't actually seen this repeated, right? Because a lot of the times when you're writing those papers, you're asking other people in your field, like, hey, can you do this and check? And people pull it and just start being like, well, you know, Dr. So-and-so and Dr. So-and-so and you know, assistant blah, 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 said that, you know, the sky is green for 10 seconds a day on Sunday the 24th. Right?
Right.
And then they have all the math and they have all the metrics they read. And when you get to the bottom, they said, well, we only observed this, you know, X amount of times. Yeah, twice in 10 years. So we don't know whether or not it's a valid. Same thing with the psychology. Mine was international business and law. Same thing in there. You know, pretty much every field. The academia has become oversaturated with papers that are not really vetted and verified, and they're still published because it has more to do with the person getting their degree or moving up their ability to get a job in that field than actual scientific advancement. And I think some of that too is it goes behind paywalls, right? The vast majority of papers you'll never see because you have to pay to read them, and people don't want to pay to read them. That's why Google existed in the first place, trying to find
So
it for
hear
free.
me out. I think, well, that specific issue is a very, but that specific issue, along with a lot of other issues in our education system, would be alleviated by a continuing education system. If we said something like every single person over the age of 18, or whatever age we decide to stop general education at, has to do 10 hours of school a week, and then it would be somewhat similar to college, and like there's some mandatory courses and then you pick the but I think continuing that, and it doesn't have to be school, but like here's the state of affairs today, here's what politics is like today, here's the relevant events going on in the world today. It could be a very easy it could be just as simple as here's what happened last week that you guys were all too busy working to notice. Here's what happened in China, and here's why it matters. Here's what happened 100 years ago. Here's why it matters.
Yeah.
Here's the new update on math that changed because, side note, unimportant to this discussion, I graduated high school in 2009. Right? It's been like 6-7 years
Jesus.
since I graduated high school.
You're so young and fresh.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long, right? I have not been out of high school for very long. But my sister-in-law, the teenager who lives with us, she has some math class right now, and she was like, hey, I'm in probability and statistics, and I really don't know what I'm doing here. And I was like, oh, like I wasn't good at it, but I could probably take a look and help. I took a look, and it was just like, it was different. I read like the whole lesson from front to back. I was like, I definitely topic, but this does not look the same. You've completely redesigned how you're doing it.
Do you want the cheat
That
code
pissed
for
me off.
probability and statistics for her?
No, not really. I don't want that
okay.
because I don't ever want to do probability. I got a D in that class. I was not good at it. I did it because I had to.
Yeah.
No
And I
voting for
never
you.
took another math class again.
Everyone has to do statistics, and the vast majority of teachers who teach statistics have no idea how to do it. They're garbage at
I
it.
had a really good teacher. It was my junior year, and I knew that I didn't have to take another math because I had taken 2 maths my sophomore year, and like my senior year was gonna be easy as fuck. I just had to pass the class, so that's what I did. I passed the class.
Because all statistics and probability it's already all been mapped out. There's charts that people who do it for a profession use. Like that should the day one in statistics should just be teachers passing that out and being like, if your numbers don't match this, you're wrong. Like don't even bother. Go back and check it. All the math's already done. This is a click and shoot math course and math problem. Are you smart enough to do the math and make sure it checks out? Like it's because it's probability and statistics. It doesn't change. All the ratios are stuck. They're the same because it's a fundamental constant. Sorry, nerding out.
But yeah,
No, you're good. That was my minor side note, is that I fucking hate that math changes. And honestly, I would not mind going to a week if I could keep up to date with the stuff that's happening and what's changing, math different, and why. I would love that.
so a chunk of it is not that math is changing. It's that how they teach it changes because they keep coming up with different metrics because at the end of the day, the American school system is fucked. And so they keep trying to find a way to have less people fail, basically. And
Which is stupid. You fail, you fail. You get back and you try again. Or you find something you're good at. I don't get the
that's much less of a problem if you don't have to worry about passing this class by the time you're 18. You know, oh, you suck at math? Let's put you on this extended course, and now you have the next 6 years to figure this out. We'll get you a teacher who like works with you really well, and you take your time, just learn it. Learn how to think in this aspect.
Personally, I don't think high school should go past sophomore year. I don't. After that, you should either be able to go in to a trade or to college, because I feel like half of high school is filler courses that aren't really needed. They're just trying to keep them there till they're adults.
I definitely appreciate a lot of the classes because most of them were less about like actually learning the material and here's a new way to think. Here's a new way to approach a subject. Here's a different critical thinking skill that you wouldn't have acquired in math. You're really only out how to think. Studying,
Because I was done. I was done with
a lot of.
No, go ahead.
I think there's a lot of things in high school that we learn that aren't like what's on the whiteboard.
Because like
you're just, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I was done with all my core classes by my sophomore year, and so my junior and senior year was just me goofing off. I took like sci-fi and like philosophy, ancient religion, and I was taking like random applied science classes. Like I was just taking random courses because I said I needed a credit. I'd been completely fine just graduating my sophomore year with my credits and going about my business.
Well, okay. You're absolutely right. Imagine if it had been structured differently. Right? What if you already knew that you were going to be going to school for the rest of right? And instead of having to worry about going to school 8 hours a day, maybe by the time you're your sophomore year, you've learned all basic knowledge. You've acquired all of the basic knowledge. You know the things that you need to know before you go into the world. The rest of it, all the bullshit, or all the interesting stuff, depending on what you take and how you look at it, all of the rest of that, you have the rest of your life to do it.
See, that's fine by me. I would like that more.
That calculus class that nobody wants to take, except for that one weird dude, cool.
Yeah.
Go take your calculus class. The rest of these people, they don't need it.
That's how I felt after I took trig. I took trig, and they're like, "Now you can take calculus," and I was like, "Why? It does the same function." No. I was like,
right?
I'm done.
The 40 other people in your class, they're gonna use their 10 hours a week to go to a trade school.
Yeah.
They're gonna learn how to weld. They're gonna learn how to lay bricks. They're gonna do something, and then after they're done doing all that, and they're like, "Oh man, I'm trying to write a resume, but I don't know how to do that." They're gonna take, for the next 4 weeks, they're gonna take this business senses or whatever,
Oh yeah. And that makes perfect sense.
I think that, yeah, I think so.
Especially because, like, I don't think you've been in school more recently. Do they teach you guys how to use like Word, Excel, Adobe, Photoshop, like major?
We learned we learned all the Microsoft stuff in middle school.
Oh, okay.
But that was genuinely because like it was a pretty good middle school, but in high school they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, do you guys know how to use PowerPoint? No? All right. Well, we're going to be using PowerPoint for the next 2 months. Probably figure that out.
That's fucking rude. I will say...
I mean, the teachers were helpful, Like, if you had a question, they would help. But it wasn't like a class. It wasn't like we're going to be using PowerPoint. Here's all the things you need to know about it. Also, we never, ever used Adobe. I think we... one of the tech classes, but...
No, Chad, this isn't water.
Like, yeah,
it's a giant thing of vodka. Fuck.
What?
Sorry. I'm drinking from my glass. There's a liquid. They're like, "What are you drinking?" I said, "It's not. No, Chad. It's not water. It's a giant thing of vodka." What?
I'm gonna drink so fucking bad. If I had better friends, they would be down here, on seat, and we would all be gathered.
If you had better friends, we trying to hit Edward's 40 hands. Who can be Edward's 40 hands first?
Oh, one time I was it Battalion CQ? What's key was on? I was on Battalion CQ, I want to say, and we were supposed to be playing Palladium that night. I think Ninja and Super Spies, and so my group came in at like 10 at night. It was trying to play, and then I want to say 417 Sergeant Major came in and had a meltdown, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah, but see, like, I already know the fact, like, the people at this unit are not doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've made some pretty good work friends, you know, we hang out every while, but, like, nobody wants to do it. There's no love of the game. I don't even care that nobody's...
Nope.
I've not seen anybody walk through here in a group of more than 2.
And there's only 2 because they had to have their battle companion. Where's your battle companion? Or did they go back to battle buddies?
They went back to battle buddies, but, like, nobody cares about that in real army. That's only a trade-off thing.
I know.
But, like, you know, there's no groups of people. Nobody's hanging out.
That's weird. Does your barracks, like, we had gazebos and grills and
we have a few gazebos and there's 1 or 2 grills, but it's not. It's less than it should be, I think. But, like, even so, nobody's using them.
What?
So why would they put more in?
I think every barracks had a game room on both floors.
Nope, no game room.
Oh.
But you don't have a game room? Well, I've got the whole barracks room. And a folding table and a couple of cups. Like,
Yeah, got to keep the door
hey guys,
open.
I have Monopoly. Hey guys, I have a TV and 4 Xbox controllers. Something.
Something, right?
Something.
They're
601st, the guys I were with before this, we were always hanging out. We were always doing something. Nobody was hanging out. Well, okay, some people were, but, like, for the most part, nobody was hanging out by themselves night off.
So what I'm hearing is we need to build 2 towns. One where you are legally required to party, and one where we put all the boring people.
The boring town wins. I mean, the boring town gets more done. They're more productive, but, like...
Less hangovers.
But the fun town, those guys are happy. Those guys are killing it.
The fuck town?
Those guys died with a smile on their face, cigarette between their fingers, and not a fuck to give.
We need to build the modern day Sodom. You know, people call Vegas that, and I'm like, Vegas doesn't have anything on Sodom.
Atlantic City, maybe.
There's a reason there's a whole word named after him.
You know, I have to ask, what is... So we know what sodomy is.
No,
what is
no.
Gomorrah eat?
Oh, what?
Gamora.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, what was Gamora
So,
famous
not
for?
sodomy. The fuck were they doing in Gomorrah?
See if we can look it up.
I didn't know that was anything except for a character's name in a Marvel movie.
No, there was 2 cities, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Uh-huh.
Although they found the sites, they actually say there was 7 cities that were sitting there.
You know, I'd need to go look it up, but I'm pretty sure that, like, their main sin in the original story wasn't that they were fucking. It's that they, like, an angel went there and they, like, did terrible things to the angel.
Which is nuts, considering how angels actually look when you look at their descriptions. They're
Hear me out.
terrifying.
Hear me out. The monster fuckers are out there, and I'm not gonna lie. If I had a chance to get a little freaky with a biblically accurate angel, I might take it. Cause, like, have you fucked an angel?
Monster fuckers are, in fact, in the room.
Nope.
Just ask Keith how many of my stories involve characters who are not human.
Carry on, I guess. Live your best life. I don't care.
And to say arrogance, profound wickedness, inhospitality, injustice. Just sounds like New York. Moral
Yeah,
corruption.
inhospitality, I think, was the really big one. I'd need to go back and look at the actual stories, but you get my point.
Once again, completely fucking valid. Because if an angel appeared before me at the TQ desk I'd be a little pissed too, because like, where have you been for the last? Come on now. What the fuck? What am I doing here?
What have you done? Where have you
Oh,
been?
You're in purgatory. Did you not know that?
I am the Metatron. I am the voice of God.
Nobody deserves this after they die. If this is purgatory, I don't even want to know what hell is.
There's some people who say this existence is a form of hell. Like, oh, very Buddhist of you. Thank you.
I mean, I can't, at this point, I really don't know how much I disagree with that take. I mean,
if there's
Don't you understand where they are?
then
If you
bills, and then I have to pay
If you
for the
relieve
food.
all want and need, you will no longer suffer.
yeah, and you can't have that because to suffer is
Yeah,
to
but-
live.
But strippers. I need money to
Yeah.
buy strippers. And
Non-suffering
then-
strippers.
Like, I'm picturing like a debate, and you have like a Catholic priest and like a Buddhist monk and everything, and then at the end, in like the last chair, is just Morningstar, who after all the theological debate just raises his hand, is like, "But what about strippers?"
I mean, come on, guys. Strippers and cocaine, am I right?
I mean, if you're at the Council of Nicaea, well, you may get an answer.
Like, God is cool and all, but does anybody want to do some blow real quick? Because, like, that's what I think.
Orthodox
I
is
think
slowly raising their hand.
That every single meeting that happens at a higher level, right? All of these really high up political meetings, when the Joint Chiefs of Staff meet, when the Division General meets with all of his battalion and brigade commanders, when stuff like that happens, there needs to be, or the equivalent of, a specialist. There needs to be a specialist present to say, "Hey, sir, that's stupid."
You got to have a 13th man.
He needs to have no consequences as long as what accurate and relevant, right?
Didn't the French army have that for a while? Like a long
know.
period?
I
Because
don't give a fuck about the French army.
we're based off the French army. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's why you march the way you do. That's why we don't march like the dirty limeys. That's why it's a spirit de corps.
Instead of getting into that discussion, let's carry on with the current. We keep splitting off.
Our
But
first
yeah.
inspector general was French, I think.
Yeah.
Most of the English language is either French.
Well, that's because a bunch of dirty Vikings went and settled in France, and then
we all know the history.
after they
My point
learned
here
French,
is-
went and conquered England.
and the
Which is
Flemish.
what happened.
Yeah, we called them Normans. My point here is, there needs to be the common man needs to be there. Because yes, the president has the final say. But Joe Smo, who, before he got the job, lived right next to me, should be able to look the president in the eye and say, "Hey, sir. Hey, Mr. President. What if we didn't nuke Iran? That'd be pretty cool, huh?" Right?
See, here's the problem: is that I feel that if you plucked like somebody out of basic America, you'd need two Joe Schmoes, because you get what I mean?
I get what you're saying. Opinions vary. Maybe there's a test. It's like a court jester kind of thing, You gotta
You
make
show
sure
me
that
the
they
right
don't become.
evidence. Maybe we should nuke Iran. I don't know. I don't have all the information.
You know,
gotta-
it
the-
wouldn't
the
be that
ideas
hard to
there.
take Iran out if we really wanted to. They're having
No,
like
it would-
water
it would-
and food issues. You just take out their water source. Watch the country implode. That's why they're going to war with
There's no
Afghanistan
test.
right now.
There's a little test, You make sure you haven't become the yes man, not a yes man. Make sure that your ideas and opinions aren't A, extremist, and B, do in fact represent at least a large portion of the public,
Yeah.
You can't be the one dude over here who's
that black people can't vote. But yet you don't get to sit next to the president.
What have we learned? They're people now. It's a fucking great short.
Oh, beautiful. One of the greatest things to come out of this job. But yeah, that's probably the most serious idea and most realistic idea I've had.
Yeah.
This whole night. Continuing education, I think that's the best idea. Like, that would be the best thing for this country. Having somebody to stand up and say, hey, sir, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Because when that truck breaks and your convoy is 3 days behind because you wanted to wait on that one guy, now your mission failed. Hey, sir, maybe you shouldn't have the Apaches on this live fire training mission be behind our transport helicopters. That sounds like a good idea to me.
If you were to do something like that, you'd have to really watch your like NCO and officer cadre. Because I remember we had a sergeant major and a colonel who were trying to do that, and one of my buddies was dumb enough to actually answer their question, and those sergeants fucked his day up. They took away, he was Mormon, and like they stopped him from going to church. They put him on double duty, like all type of stuff, and he's like, I just answered the colonel's question. Like,
hear me out. It's a job. That's your job. You're the specialist. It's your job. That's your place of duty. That's the only thing you're gonna do, and there's not a consequence. As long as what you say isn't like it's relevant, it's informative, and you're not just saying it because you feel like you want to say something. As long as you say something that is relevant to the discussion and you're not lying out of your asshole, there's not a consequence. You're there to voice the opinion of the general public from the lowest level, because these people we elect, yes, they're there to voice the public. They're supposed to take all of these comments and whatnot, but they're also not a part of the general public. They've been politicians for half their lives.
I live under
They don't know
tyranny.
how much
They don't care
bread
about us.
costs.
So hear me out. So,
I'm hearing.
problem. If it's a guy where that's his entire job, that leaves him open to bribery. Like, that leaves him open to individual consequences. So instead, it's a lottery where nobody, like...
Oh, like jury duty?
Somehow you set it up.
You do it like jury duty. You do it as part of jury duty.
I like that.
When that,
I like that a lot.
But here's the second part of it.
This is your civil service.
It's like jury duty, but also you remain anonymous. So in the Ottoman Empire, in the room where the counselors would meet, there was the Sultan's seat was inside a box that could look out, but you can't look in. So you never knew if the Sultan was there listening, and two, the anonymity doesn't matter there. But in this case, it's the same way. So you bring someone in who's behind mirrored glass. They can see what's happening, but the people in the council never know if there's someone there, and they never know who it is. But you have the system built so it's this jury person. And
okay.
So, yeah, that's my idea.
Okay. I disagree. I like jury duty, right? I don't like anonymity, and I don't like something else. But the reason I don't like that is A, it assumes that the guy has power. The specialist, I'm taking this from purely a military standpoint just because I think that's what we should. But like, the specialist at the general's meeting doesn't have any power, right? If the general decides to go through with this stupid ass plan, that's what's gonna happen. He doesn't have veto rights. He can't change anything. All he can do is say what he has to. Oh. So if you think it's a really stupid idea, you speak up and say, hey, this is a stupid idea. Or hey, maybe we should change it just a little bit to accommodate X, Y, Z. Also, it is a lot harder to look in somebody's eye, not too much harder, but it is, than to just hear a disembodied panel. You know he's there, or maybe he's not there. He's there, but, like, so what?
I was about to say, you could do for the militaries, it's a rotating, like, CQ, where there's a list, but it has to be, like, someone has the list that, like, someone can't get a hold of, S2 or something, like, it's got to be in a vault, right? And it's like CQ, right? The general's got these meetings listed up, that means they're going to go and task, random lower enlisted are going to get tasked from around the footprint, and you go into a room, you get to sit in on a meeting with a video cam. They can't see you, but they can hear your voice, like you said, and you can say your piece if it's smart, dumb, right? If it's like a specific mission or a field problem, then you should probably have like
Somebody from the unit.
and you should have multiple. Like, you need to have a quartermaster there. You have to have somebody who's a mechanic. You got to have medical. Like, there's got to be a couple of them, because yes, their officers and their NCOs are there, but if a platoon sergeant comes down and says, "Hey, I need all of the medical gear laid out and ready, Tuesday," and they go and do it Tuesday, and then find out they're going to be short, 50 bags of saline and 36 pounds of ibuprofen. You know how the military likes ibuprofen, but the sergeant says we're good to go. Like, it needs to be a private to be like, hey.
Two things with that. One is it can't realistically be more than one person, because it's still the military.
Right.
If the general had to have a council
every
single time he made a decision, it would become democratic.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Right, but they have no power. They're just voicing what's happening.
Right, but it's still...
Because the privates are going to find out anyway. That private network is faster than, lightning. Speed of light.
It's turned into more of an actual jury now.
That's fair. So
it's not a jury. It's not a decision-making group. It is one person, right? And there's criteria, maybe. It can't be somebody who's ever had an Article 50. This person, can't have a flag. Person has to meet all of the... this person has to meet all of the X, Y... And then they sit in, and it goes on, like you said, it goes on a list, and and then maybe you treat it like a little bit of the... You don't wear your name tape, you don't wear your unit patch, or unit patch doesn't really matter, but, you don't wear any of the now the general looks and he says, "Oh, Corporal Stott, huh? Noted. Your squad is fucked next week," So you retain some anonymity, because, division general, brigade commander, they're not going to remember you.
Yeah.
They're going to see so many of these specialists or corporals or sergeant, and it's never going to be the same guy, right? From the unit, if it's unit specific. If it's not, then you pull from the general list.
What if
the guy sits in the room with all of the important people, and he is given a specific time to speak his piece at the end of the meeting, and he's allowed to speak during it.
What if you make sure they can't be from that unit? Like, you depending on the size of your base, right? But I'm saying if it's 1st Brigade, you grab someone from 2nd Brigade. So then there's no way that there's any type of repercussion if someone so happens to figure out who that person is.
That's only so realistic, and again, I speak from an...
Right.
I know what our maintenance can handle. I know what our guys are experienced in and not... But I don't know what the Apache guys do. I don't know anything about their maintenance. I don't know anything... So if I got pulled to sit in on the Apache thing, because there's only one Apache battalion, so they have to pull from a different unit. They still want to pull from 88. Well, yeah, that sounds good, I guess. 30 hours of maintenance isn't really that much. Like, that's definitely doable, except maybe not for them. So I think it's unit specific, because maybe for the infantry guys, fucking who cares? Like, nobody's ever going to assault. But infantry would matter less, because they have way more dudes in there. So, it's a 1st Brigade op. You pull a guy from 1st Brigade and he says that's stupid. Nobody is ever going to know who he is, because there's 50 billion of them.
Oh, they know.
All right, that's fair. Somebody will know.
Somebody will know. Someone always knows.
However,
It's ridiculous.
I think that's the point of a protected position. It'd be like, it'd be kind of like witness protection. Not witness protection. That's the wrong thing. What's it called?
Maybe. I don't know. Witness protection might be the right answer.
But any retaliation against this guy, there'd have to be regulations and
you retaliate against this, it's super unlawful. You'd get
I've met
You
people
know.
who have waited years
Oh, yeah.
to mess someone up
Army-
for something from Pacific. Like one of my
Yeah.
NCOs, him and this guy had gotten into it like 10, 15 years prior, right? And the other dude ended up outranking him, and he saw him and immediately put a letter of reprimand in his file. Like
Yep.
there is that like level of pettiness.
It's still the military. There will
Right.
be some people who care that much. That is reduced slightly by the number of people, right?
Right.
The general always has a meeting. So the general gets shot down by this specialist.
Right. In 2 hours, there's going to be another specialist. Oh, we lost him. Hello?
From the last am I here?
Hello?
You're breaking up.
Yeah.
Yep, I can.
Oh,
Oh, that's fuck.
what? Oh.
Hold on.
They're hearing your ideas. They don't want you to speak.
Shut him down. Shut him down. Trying to triangulate his position.
How's it?
Oh. Well, sounds right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
Robotic.
it is. My is connected.
Domo
They're shutting you down.
Am I back?
Roboto domo. I think so. Maybe. Oh, we lost him. Hello.
You back?
Oh, he is in spirit, maybe not in voice. We get a slice of pizza.
I keep getting disconnected from the internet. You might be right. Can you hear me fine now, though?
Yes.
No. Oh, okay. Anyways, as I was saying before the government so rudely interrupted me, so yeah, there's so many people, generals and commanders, and genuinely any officer above captain has so many meetings. There will be so many specialists who say so many things that yes, they could be petty and wait it out, but I think after the first, I don't know, 100 times a specialist says something that they don't like, they're probably going to get desensitized.
I don't know. We saw what Twitter did to rich people.
This is true,
Yeah.
but Twitter
I
is a
think-
mass of people, and we're talking about one commander who sees 100 different people.
Right, but each one of those 100 is telling him his ideas stupid.
Exactly, but that still doesn't leave a lot of room for retaliation. What's up, man?
Right, but at that point it becomes, well, fuck it, I'll retaliate against all of them.
Oh yeah.
Don't get it. There's more.
Good night, babes.
Don't tell me that they can't retaliate against all of them.
That would,
There's a.
Chicken Alfredo.
yeah.
I'm going.
All right.
Still gotta wake up at 10 a.m. tomorrow, but fuck it.
Well, fuck it. We won't. Have a good night.
My bad.
Ask all the drill sergeants who got pissed and threw their hats off and burned them. All got Article 15s. A couple hundred of them.
Okay, you're absolutely right. Everybody can be punished, but that's the whole point of this whole, like, there'd be a regulation, you know, like if you retaliate in any way, shape, or form against this person, this designated person who's supposed to tell you that you're being stupid, then you get removed from your command.
Oh.
And if it happens again, you get your Article 15 or whatever officers get.
I think you get letters of
You
reprimand.
know, like, if it comes with a hefty consequence. And so, yes, of course, it would still happen, but more often than not, it wouldn't be worth it.
That's fair.
Yes, this guy ruined your idea in front of the entire division. However, it's happened 5 times before, and that fucking specialist isn't worth it. If your idea is that good and you really believe in it, you can still talk those people into it.
Fair enough. I definitely think that it would be a bit rocky at the start.
Oh yeah, that's not the kind of thing that gets implemented very well very quickly.
Also, I'm
But-
just reminded of something funny from a book, which
yeah.
is in the Forever War. This guy's been promoted to an officer just because he's been in the military for so long, like literally hundreds of years at this point, because of how time dilation works. He's the most senior member of the military, and he was just like a private, right?
Right.
And so
think
he
I
gets
saw that.
promoted just because it would be embarrassing. Like,
Right.
like he has this captain explaining to him, like, no, I agree with you. You should not be an officer. You like all of our psych tests say you should not be an officer, but the bureaucrats
However-
on Earth think it would be embarrassing if you weren't. But the point is, he's going over like how to run his unit, and he's like, well, some of the like they gave him all military education, and like every army that ever existed, drilled into his brain with electrodes. So he's like, well, there was that army, you know, there was the independent brigades in the Spanish Civil War where they were allowed to question any order, and if they didn't like the explanation, they didn't have to follow it. And he's like, you know, it's a really interesting way of running an army. They did lose the war, though.
They did, in fact, lose the war. Because no soldier is ever happy with orders.
I don't know. Infantry get pretty happy when you tell them to go take out that machine gun nest.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes they do. Unless that nest sits on top of a hill.
Well, that's because they have to go up the hill.
Exactly.
Fuck, I gotta go up this hill.
So that's my soapbox. You know, I think it's feasible. I think it's doable. And I think there's an argument for it being realistic.
It'd definitely be
Yeah,
an
that's
interesting implementation. I do feel like the French had something to it, but I think it was a council. I don't think it was just one soldier.
Yeah. I don't think realistically the military would ever say, yes, let's convene a council for every single time the division commander makes a decision.
I don't think it worked I don't think it was for everything. I think it was for just like major operations only.
See, that's what for maybe that's a part of it. Maybe if it's like a huge thing, you know, we're gonna go on this division level exercise, there should be a council. Maybe there's a soldier from every single battalion involved in whatever's going on, you know? Maybe it's very...
All right, but if
So
it's a
if it's just
council, I want it to have a cool name. I'm just saying.
No, that's it would have to have a cool name. You can't do that and not have a cool name. But even so, like, if it's variable, then A, it adds way more realistic flexibility to that decision-making process. Because maybe, you know, the infantryman says, yeah, actually, I fucking love that plan, as he is prone to. But the Bradley mechanic says, sir, we don't have enough Bradleys or maintainers to support that. Like, yes, we do on paper, but we actually know. So yeah, you know, if you for the larger the operation, the more people. If it's a brigade operation, you take somebody from each of the battalion. You separate it up. Mechanic from one battalion, you take a pilot from another battalion.
Okay. Yeah.
It would also have to be rank structured, you know? You can't have an E7 sitting on that council.
So it looks like
He's already in the room.
the way the French did it is it was only the infantry. It was only the infantry, and it was a it was an informal conversation, it looks like. So I guess it happened after the 1917 mutinies, and it looks like what would happen is the general would come down and be like, hey, we want to do a push, you know, in 3 to 6 months. What do you guys think? What does the layout look like? And then the infantry would be like, hey, if you send the Germans have been reinforcing for the last 3 months. If you send us over there, we're getting slaughtered. We're not going to go over. That's crazy. If you guys let us do some raids, break up some stuff, maybe in 8 months we'll be able to do that. It looks like it's how, but it looked like it only was at the end of World War I after the mutinies, and then after it went away. and it also referenced something about 1850s. So I guess that's the Franco-Prussian Wars. I guess is where it started.
I think every single military in history has at some point done something similar.
Yeah.
Not to the extent, but every commander has talked to a line trooper and said, "What do you think?"
I think one of the things that would maybe the other thing too is like, I don't know how the new army is. I know back with mine, if it wasn't some like going to like shake hands and kiss babies, the general response was, "Hey, you guys need to go patrol Cherry South for the next week. We don't care how you do it. Just go get it done." And then the infantry would get to sit down with their people and figure out how they were going to do it and order what they needed within reason. Maybe you get the same thing like that, but it's sitting in the board. You have the one person who listens and then comes back and is like, "Hey, this is what they want us to do. How can we actually do it?" So then that person or that group who's assigned to the task can come back and tell them. But I think that's what happens anyway. Or
I
how
think
it should
that
happen.
might be a lot closer to what the infantry does. Maybe a lot of the army probably doesn't need this program, but aviation is controlled at like such a high level, like even division level doesn't really
work. You'd have to have someone going.
Yeah, that's like it's almost a whole force com asset every single time for aviation.
Yeah, it's like artillery.
Because there's only ever one or two cabs in a battle space. And so, when the infantry needs to push, they're like, all right, we're gonna send three UH-60s for the air assault. But nobody tells us. And so then a week before I'm not even kidding, that's what happens. Like a week before the mission, they're like, "Oh, by the way, you guys need to put up 3 for this." And so the battalion commander, he gets that and he says, "All right, Charlie Company, you're in." So, like real world stuff, we don't actually know what's going on. We just do as much maintenance as we can to keep as many of our aircraft as available as possible, because something's going to happen at some point, but we never know what, where, or when. And so it would be really nice if there was some crew chief out there who said, "Hey, sir, Charlie Company can't give you 3 aircraft. The 3-1 can't give you 3 aircraft. That cab doesn't have those 3 aircraft. They can give you 2." Because that's what happens. It comes down and they say, "Hey, we need 3," and then we say we can't do that, and they say, "Too bad," because the decision's already been made that they need 3.
I don't mean to
Whereas if
hang
somebody had
people out
proposed
to
that-
dry, but it sounds like your chiefs aren't doing their job.
It's not hanging people out to dry. It's sometimes it does end up doing that, but most of the time it's because they've made this higher level decision that this air assault needs 3 aircraft. And so we need to have 3 aircraft. At the end of the day, if it can't be done, it can't be done. Right?
Right.
But it looks really bad on us, and then we don't get picked for the next thing. We want to go in air assault. I would love to do that. Please send me. But if I can't put up 3 aircraft, if I can only put up 2, then that's the breaks.
So I guess my question with that is what, like we had as like a HPCT, we had a warrant officer who was supposed to be at the meetings talking about the readiness of the equipment and telling them like, "Hey, we've only got out of the 50, 5 tons, we've only got 20 that are ready to go. Out of our 8 tanks, 4 are mission ready. 3 can do the job, but there's a chance they'll break down, and 1 is inoperable." Like, that's what
You're
our
absolutely right.
chief was doing.
That guy exists. It's our PC officer, right? There's 3 problems with that system. The first problem is those guys are prone to being yes men.
Ooh, no.
We don't have a warrant officer doing, or actually sometimes we do, but the PC OC, who is basically in charge of our readiness, right? is almost always a yes man who will say, yes, we can do that. We can get it done.
Who the?
Because it's his battalion. He wants his battalion to look good.
Ours were always salty, growling at people and telling them to get away, fuck off, and no. Like
That might just be a peacetime army versus a wartime army difference. That
Maybe.
might be an aviation versus ground army thing. I don't know what it is.
I don't
never
know.
had a PCB officer who wasn't a yes man.
Really? Huh.
Secondly, the second issue is actual readiness versus the PC board readiness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pressure to not have deadlined aircraft. We don't call them deadlined. We have different words, but for all intents and purposes, right? So right now, for my company, we are 8 out of 10, right? Ready to go. Except we're really not. We're actually like 4 out of 10. Because they won't let us actually deadline the aircraft until we have every single thing we need to fix it. Technically, on paper, yes, that aircraft can fly. But if you try to send it on the mission, it's not going. It's not going.
Oh my God.
It's going to spin up, it's going to fly, and they're going to realize it's broken and turn around and come home.
Net.
And then, because you decided that you absolutely needed 3 aircraft for this air assault, because PC said, yes, we have the aircraft, you can do it, right? You've built your whole no-fail mission, and now you only have 2, and the whole mission is correct, and then we look like shit.
And
Whereas, now I'm making the numbers real simple here. Obviously there's more to it than that.
yeah.
Like, we have a spare aircraft. It's ready to go, standing by. You know, we have our contingency plans and all of that. But the short and sweet of it is, when we can't meet the mission requirements that we've been given, that every single person knows is unreasonable, right? It's just happened to us, actually. We have I think you guys heard me talking to somebody else about it earlier, the Califex this weekend. It's on Sunday.
Yeah.
They're putting up 14 aircraft across 3 different battalions.
Oh.
To do like a division level, to participate in the division level exercise, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's a huge deal. They were in a 5-hour meeting about it, blah blah blah. But the point here is, there's only 4 spare aircraft across the brigade for this 14 ship mission.
So
I know for a fact that of the 3 that we're putting up, one of them is broken, and our spare is a paper spare because it doesn't actually work.
So I was watching a C-SPAN 2. Anyway, might have been this House. It was the House or Senate. Whoever the political person was complaining about the readiness of equipment and maintenance. I think we talked about this about artillery and that one piece. So it sounds like it's not
the part and was like, this cost $15,000.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys are running into the same stuff because to get the equipment to fix the vehicle should just be
Not necessarily
there.
I mean, sometimes yes. Sometimes
like-
we genuinely can't afford the parts, but it's time. You know, they want to put up. I think after we did the math, it's close to 120 hours worth of flight hours on these aircraft, and I think it's I forget the ratio.
Are you guys running into the same problem where it's like, all the Chinooks were built in like the 80s and 90s, and they're all just old and worn out and tired?
Just like straight maintenance to flight hours.
Right, it's like 2 to 1, isn't it? Or roughly, yeah.
I'm looking it up right now because I forget, and I don't want to sound stupid when this is supposed to be my job. So it's okay. So it's 2 to 4.
Ooh, okay. Well, okay.
Probably 4 for the olders, like the Limas. It's probably closer to 2 for the Mikes. But that's 240 hours of maintenance. And I can tell you for a fact that we're already behind on maintenance. Like, we have other things that we need to get done.
Man, I just heard of
a
maintenance party. Get comfy.
Yeah,
tell your wives you'll be home someday. Next month
don't
you're
have
just gonna be.
We don't have enough people, so like, we could work 16-hour days, but that's a whole different issue. But
we could work extra hours and longer days, but then who's going to fly the missions? Oh, we need crew chiefs for missions. Oh, we need aircraft for missions. Oh, okay, so now we're trying to run those missions and this maintenance, and we're just it's a cycle that just eats itself. So
have you ever been to NTC?
Right now, I actually have not been to NTC.
Aha. Yeah. I was wondering. that sums up NTC. That is NTC in a nutshell.
Exactly. When the aircraft came back from NTC, we worked overtime for like 3 weeks. Now that's not that long, but we also didn't have any there were hardly any flights. We were flying bare minimums. So we had extra people that we don't normally have, but
I mean,
if somebody at the meeting said, "Hey, assholes, we can actually only put up 2 aircraft, and actually we might only be able to put up 1 after you put in all the contingency plans and whatnot." So when you're planning this big air assault that has a no-fail of 3 aircraft, maybe consider that. You know what I'm saying?
Would you be able just to tap extra hands to do the maintenance with you? Could you just pull a bunch of ground pounders, knuckle draggers?
No.
And just be like, no?
So actually, this is an interesting subject. We typically don't do that because you have to be a mechanic to actually work on the aircraft. But there's a lot of things that we're allowed to have assistance for.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, having an assistant does not help with the maintenance. It helps with, can you pick that up and put it over there? So yes, it does save some time, but it would be more of a headache trying to corral a bunch of guys who don't know anything about aircraft maintenance and getting them to do the right things, how to be fragile with that part. You don't have to be fragile with that. I don't care where it goes. And how to act around aircraft, because we have a bunch of rules and stuff to follow. It's like in the hangar, not even when we're touching an aircraft. So
OJT? No, I don't know. I'm just trying to see if there's like a way around it, because I know sometimes I got tasked out to do stuff for like artillery and tanks and stuff that I probably shouldn't have been around, and they were just like, we need something large and can move stuff. You come here, okay? Well, I got to help.
We don't really have a lot of that work. There is some. There's always some pick it up, put it down work.
Right. But if it's you guys just taking everything apart to do the maintenance and handing it to them, and like for the, it wasn't a tank, Paladin, for the Paladin I helped with, they were smart. They had everything taped out where they wanted it on a big layout inside the bay. And as they were taking it apart, we just moved it to the designated tape square. That's all we were doing. So they took it apart. They just needed the people. All they were doing was just literally pulling out the pieces they need and daisy chaining it out of the Paladin, and then we were putting it down. So something that was supposed to take 2 days took a day. I don't know. I was only there for the first 4 hours, and then they told me to leave because the heavy lifting was done. And then I came back the next day to daisy chain it back in, and that was it. Would something like that help? Where you guys are just, whatever you're maintaining, you're just breaking it all down, cleaning it all, and then putting it right back together?
Personally, I can't envision that. But I'm not gonna say it won't work because I don't know. I've never seen it. So
yeah,
maybe. Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know. Like I said, they had their who was it? I'm not gonna say names because I don't know if they're still in or not. Their staff sergeant was standing where everything was taped out, and as we came in, he was telling us where to place it. And we put it all down. They placed all the stuff out, and then whatever they needed to do for whatever they were doing. I wonder if they're upgrading them or something, because they took out stuff, a lot of stuff. I don't know what it was. Blue Force trackers, computers, pieces of the equipment itself. I got to see the backside of the firing chamber. That was cool. It's huge.
That's cool.
It's like giant rings, look like a naval gun. But they would go through. They did that. They laid it all out. I don't know what they did because I just left. And then when I came back, it was in opposite order. We just put it all back in. So, I mean, I was next to aviation, but I never really saw maintenance anything the whole time. downrange. I think they flew to a different base and had their stuff maintenance.
That's pretty common.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I've never been on a deployment, so I only know how it's supposed to work. But notionally, with the exception of something breaking and the aircraft cannot fly, what's supposed to happen is you have your line units out there. You have, you know, you got your 3-4 helicopters out there in a fob somewhere, and they run all their missions. And when they come up on heavy maintenance and they're like, hey, we're going to need to do this in like 3 more flight hours, they fly it to that base that's 2 flight hours away, and they do the maintenance there, and that's where they keep all of the support maintenance people. That's where they keep larger number of maintainers so that they can maintain, or ideally they can maintain those that amount of maintenance.
Where's Odin? I think his last unit was an aviation unit. I mean, he was a radio tech, but he was still there.
I think said something about that.
I wonder, would you guys... I mean, I know you're like low man on totem pole. Maybe just give it the idea. Would you be able to task other maintainers from other parts to come in and help? 'Cause the whole point of the military is like...
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
To get it done. But yeah.
Yes, that is the whole point. The problem with aviation specifically is that there's a lot of regulations and rules that aren't military.
Well, that makes sense.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into who can work on an aircraft and what they can work on that aircraft and why. So like, I can work on an Apache, but I can't work on all of it. I can only work on some of it. You know, and like a Chinook person can come over and work on mine, but they can't work on all of it. They can work on some of it.
Right.
So there is that. There is a little flexibility there. But there's also knowledge. So like, I know how to work on my helicopter. I know it very well. I can go pull it apart, take it, you know, pull whatever system apart, put it back together pretty easily. But if I asked an Apache guy to do that, he'd be lost in the fucking sauce, and it would take longer for him to do it than it would for me to do this task and then do that one.
Right. Well, yeah, because both aircraft are even built by completely different companies, aren't they?
All 3 of them are built by different companies.
Right.
They have different workbooks. Their workbooks are laid out differently. So if I wanted to go and pull an engine from a Chinook, I'd go to the manual because I don't know what I'm doing. Except their manual is set up differently. So obviously it wouldn't be a big deal to like figure out the manual, but it's just like these little steps that accumulate because, you know, their manual is set up differently. So maybe that note there that I would read and then move on for the 60 manual, maybe that note is actually hyperlinked to something else, but I don't know.
Right. You're like, oh, look at that. Just like click off and come back and go, oh.
Like I know how to find all the information I need for my aircraft. And that's just like to start with. There's obviously more to it. There's layers and layers, and you get it.
Yeah. It's like, those MBU units are like way more complicated than you would think they are. And all they're doing is burning diesel. And there's 3 different types.
Like you said, you know, maybe they're just doing their grunt work, you know, because pulling an engine is actually hard. I just use an example, like, hey, I need you to go pull that engine. Like, can you do that? And they say, yeah, we can do that. And they get their little team together of Chinook maintainers that aren't busy to go do that.
Yeah. Especially we just need people to turn a wrench there, pull a thing here.
Yeah, like, hey, go take that part off. This is the part I need you to remove. Remove it and put it over there.
Yeah.
Maybe it is feasible. Again, I've done work on an Apache, but it was very minimal, and it was like for the one time, you know. It was like, oh, I'm here and I can help.
Yeah. No, it's just a thought because it's like, oh, you know, if it's getting them in the air, but
I don't know how realistic it is for like widespread use or regular use, but maybe.
Yeah, it's always one of those like, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
It's definitely worth like
I'm sure somebody's tried it, but if not, it's definitely worth a try just to see, like, is it effective, or did we actually just fuck everything up for everybody else?
Right. Who's getting yelled at? I am. Who's getting the credit? They are. You know. Chain of commands. Yeah, no, that's fair. It happens. Par for the course. But yeah, no, just can't win some days. There's one truck we had. It was like we had like an old Jeep from like the, I want to say 40s or 50s that was still like on the books in our battalion, and that thing ran like nobody's business. That thing never broke down, ever.
Just wouldn't die.
Just wouldn't die. It just would not die. And the best part was like I think the year before I got out, they went to like order the parts for it, and the military just sent them another Jeep.
Yeah, they just said, guys, what are you doing?
It came in a box, like a Rector set. They popped it open, and I guess what happens, they went to order the parts, and whoever has the depot for the parts was like, oh, we'll just send them a replacement for all the parts. And they come in like a pre-built box where you pop it open, everything's in there. And you just pull it apart and put it together. It was pretty cool. I think they did use that Jeep for parts, because they popped it open. I was doing maintenance that day. They popped it open and were like, "Oh, it's a whole Jeep in here," and then just like pulled the parts they needed and put it off to the side.
Fucking cannibalized. I love that.
Yeah, I was like, "Wait, you guys could have two Jeeps." They're like, "Eh." So that was cool. Yeah, it came in like a pre-built box. Let me see if I can find a picture. Jeep.
It is pretty cool. We have a similar thing. So we have a large inspection every couple hundred flight hours.
Oh yeah, there it is.
And so there's a kit that you can order, and I just like watched them order it, and it's a $180,000 kit, and it comes with, I think, almost all of the things that you need that like do get replaced, should get replaced. It comes with a bunch of the hardware that gets replaced, all of the self-locking nuts that have to be changed every time. Like, it just comes with everything that you're supposed to use, or again, almost everything that you're supposed to use and replace for that whole phased maintenance cycle. It's like a one-time use kit, and it's really cool. I've only ever seen one once, and I was kind of surprised that they ordered one now, because it's $180,000 that our unit definitely does not have.
That's okay. As fiscal years come up, they had to zero the books out. That's why they picked it up.
Yeah, probably.
All right, look at that. You can still buy them. That's crazy. But no, I mean, that would make sense, because I mean, if you're out doing combat operations, I mean, that's what's going to get dropped off to you. It's
yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, that's what I had,
It's
all
just
the
really
replacement
cool.
parts.
Because, like, again, it's something that I don't get to see very often.
Right. I wonder if at one point you're gonna get to see where it's just like the like entire top like mainframe or something's just gonna pop up to be repaired or something. That would be cool.
I have seen one of those. That was a long time ago. Jesus. They had a hard landing, and they ended up bending two of the fuck, I forget what they're called.
I don't know.
It's airframe, obviously, right? But
Right.
it's got a special name because it like kind of like a submarine or a boat. It goes all the way around. It's one solid thing.
Mm-hmm.
and 2 of those got bent, and they were like, yeah, we're just gonna fucking. They can get fixed, but it's genuinely not worth it. These aircraft always have problems after you do that, so we're just gonna replace it.
They're just like, whoop.
But we don't. So what they do is they send that back to a depot, and the depot strips everything useful from the aircraft and puts it in whatever they're refurbish all these parts, and then put them on the next thing or send them out as replacement parts, and we just get a new aircraft.
Oh yeah, one time I was a forklift operator and I had to bring a replacement part. I think it was for a Black Hawk, but the piece when they opened it had walnut shells, like ground walnut shells, is what they'd use to like clean it out or something.
Oh yeah.
So when they popped it open, there was like this crushed walnut shells that like spilled out everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of materials that we use for packing because some of them are like packing peanuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like the plastic and whatever the chemicals they use to make it don't interact well with this specific metal, so we use XYZ instead. You know, I've seen you know those little cardboard fibers that you get? They're like the little strips of cardboard.
Oh yeah.
That they use for packing material. Yeah, we get a lot of parts in those. We had one that was wrapped in like layers and layers, wool, like a wool blanket. What other things have I seen? I haven't seen crushed walnut shells, but that, I mean, I could see that making sense.
Yeah, that was. I was like, what?
It's crazy the amount of like research and thought they put into some things like packing materials,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense when you think about it, but it's not something you would just think about on your own, you know?
Yeah, like like why did this have to become a thing? Also, where'd you get all the walnut shells? Like, stuff's crazy. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna up all the maintenance required for equipment in the game.
No.
You're now gonna have wear and
Why do you
degradation. There'll be an hour. There'll be like a little metric that shows like how many hours you need to clean and maintain your weapons. See how crunchy we can make this game. Crunch levels over 9,000.
I'm excited about second edition. I'm actually, so I would love if when we do this, if we, I mean, I think you said you were already wanted to do this, but like spend the first few sessions like building our characters.
Yeah.
Because I would like the chance to ask all the questions so that I can read about it offline and then create it and ask questions online.
Oh yeah.
And then also, you know, obviously we don't have a lot of viewers, but like if you wanted people to play, building your party and your character is kind of an important aspect.
Yeah, and the other thing too, once the player's codex is pretty much solidified, I'll be putting a one-shot adventure up on the publisher for free, so people can come in and pull it and play. And then, but yeah, I mean, because like now there's defensive modifier instead of DT, so I'm going back to the old way where if you attack an enemy straight on, they're really hard to kill because most things don't want to die. Like, so they take cover, they get out of the way to your sword, they try not to get shot, AK suppression. So you know you got to do a little more fire and maneuver. I think this 1.5 we were playing is a little too much like running up on people. You know, we saw that with
A little bit.
Finn's build, and to a certain extent Odin's, but not too much. And I don't know if Finn's is because, you know, Finn was not playing fairly, but some of that was and some of that wasn't. I mean, there was a build that was available inside the system. And then the slot system, I think, is going to really change how players play. Because at one point I was like, well, what's the point of having a cart and a vehicle? Like, you know, it's something that drives characters to think to think of properly planning out a mission and having the equipment and material, because a lot of times players and game masters forget about food, water, where's it going, how much space does it take up.
Yeah, I didn't even think about like how we were going to get from point A to point B until we, needed to go somewhere that was super far away and was going to take us a long time to get there. I said, oh shit, maybe we should invest a little bit into a horse buggy.
Yeah. And then
and I liked that.
Combat's going to be the actual I restructured combat where everything's just AP that translates into damage. And the type of damage is really going to set the tone for what happens to characters once they get near bleed out. And so now there's going to be a whole grievous wound section in the Weaver's Guide, where if you get a critical or your body hits 0, the type of damage will do something on the grievous wound table. Since bleed out's already a thing in the game, I feel like having the grievous wound table makes more sense in the game mechanically than just like instant death or something like that. XP's larger, but it does the same function. And it was just changed to a slightly different ratio scale to make more sense purchasing and running it now, especially because your skills dictate your main attribute stats a lot more than before. So your character having the +8s and stuff like that is going to be a serious advantage for your character. So you're going to be rewarded for purchasing the nice equipment and materials.
Okay. I like that.
I think what else? So when you drop the 1200 on the Gucci Gear rifle, you actually feel like it's worth it. And equipment.
Well, I feel like it's worth it now. Hold on. What are you adding? Because honestly, that might make it a little bit too much. Because right now with the +8 that I get, I'm very happy with that.
I don't know if you can get a +8 now.
It means that I can choose if I pull a single 1 and the rest of my cards are all aligned, but 1, I can pick the 1 because I want the headshot and I'm pretty sure I'll hit.
Right.
I like the mechanic and I like your idea, but I would hate to see it become too powerful.
So right now in the main Player's Codex, let me double check, but I don't think if they just buy the Player's Codex, they're not going to have access to the scopes and the lasers and stuff. That's going to be...
And you're making it pay to play?
Yeah, got to make it pay to play.
What do we live in a capitalist society?
There's a subscription service through my publisher, so subscribe, get access to all the books and adventures. Good old capitalism. But they'll go down to +1s and +2s on the weapons, just because of the shift from the number of cards you're going to pull on average. The +2s, +3s, +4s on the fate scores, those are going to be major improvements compared to just like +1, +2. So, but
I was going to say, can we get some Gucci gear for the Magi just because...
Oh, I plan to release, because of now the way the game's restructured, I'll be able to release specialized books for... Magi, equipment, Reapers. I already plan to do a magical, items and equipment book. I've actually got it roughed out, I think, already. Let me see. Yeah, Benin's Equipment Compendium is going to be the new armory book. But that also means I get to sell people the books at lower prices. So that's kind of the caveat.
Yeah.
Before... if I left everything in the book's going to be $60, $70 if you were to print and own a hard copy. And I might do a super edition book at a higher price where everything's in there.
The only reason I bring up Magi stuff is because, on one hand, I can do some really fucking cool shit with my spells. On the other hand, here's Morningstar capping people with a fucking +8 each time while I'm like, I can.
You're over here trying your hardest.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I'm like, oh, I got another one.
Well, we didn't make.
I have.
I think nerfing the magic in 1.5 when we started at the lower level was the wrong answer. When you remember, you're like, it does 4 wound and ignores armor. You're like, that's kind of high. No, magic's supposed to be deadly, so I think.
No, yeah, I think we had the conversation of the nerfing was the wrong choice.
Well, we were gonna test it. We've tested it, and yeah, I think that's the conclusion we came to. Because now your spells aren't as terrifying. Your stuff isn't
right,
slapping.
Why would I run when I can just shoot? Except there should be a reason to run.
Right. Yeah. Magi and magic users should be horrible, terrifying things that make you scream and say, "Shoot the sorcerer."
That's when I scream, "I'm just a healer." You hear that? Shoot the sorcerer harder. They're a healer.
Well, that's like, I want to do the specialized
People just
things.
have to learn the hard way. Don't fuck with the medic.
Yeah. Well, there's not a medic now.
Oh. Okay. What?
You can go look in professions, but techs have been rewritten. They're now like all the other professions. They're a specific thing that does specific stuff.
Instead of having their own schools within the tech.
Yeah, when you look at professions has been rebuilt to what I think is a much more class skill based character.
Do I have the profession one?
It should be loaded into. I updated. Right now, you can see all the chapters that are done in what is it? That second edition edit.
Where is that?
The Player's Codex second edition edit. I can repost it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, if it's a pinned message, I'll find it.
It should
But
be.
If it's not a pinned message, I'm sorry, I'm not scrolling. Is it?
Supposed to be. Combat, professions, equipment, skills. Yeah. 719 second edition edit copy will now be here as I finish and add chapters.
You can't make me scroll.
The amount we post in here.
Shit. There we go. Okay, then I just have to fit in.
I don't have them bookmarked. I probably should. But. So, let me go find out what page professions is on. Professions starts on.
Now all I have to put is a clue.
84. Should still be 84.
84. Page 84 of the
Player's Codex second edition edit.
Ah. Come on.
If you want to see what I'm looking at, chat.
your page numbers at the bottom are a little off.
I wonder, I'm not sure, did yours open up in like the Google Docs, or did it open up?
No, it opened up in Microsoft Word. It's just like it's 5 straight line page, and then the next page is 6, and then it goes down to 4. It's just not like, maybe it's just not updating. Because I'm on page 84 and it says it's on page 8.
What? That's weird. I don't know what that is.
Page 84 for me is actions.
Yeah.
Aspects, actions, casting.
It should be the end of species. The Minka.
Oh. Let's see if I can find it.
Then you're on.
Because I'm also on a Chromebook, so it might just be loading terribly.
That's very possible.
Ugh. Man, I hope Odin's okay.
Yeah. Well, his wife said she texted him, and I texted him. He didn't respond. So either he's trying not to murder children, or we're going to see him on the news for murdering children.
Wait, we're not supposed to murder children? Shit.
That's what I keep being told.
It's meant to see dependent.
I guess you can murder them as long as they're not out yet. But I think we should allow post late level ones.
It's a very late abortion.
You know, we'll just do like they did back in the old days. You know, honor thy father and mother. Just calling the herd naturally.
Did you guys read The Lottery in school?
The what?
The Lottery?
No, I read 1984, We, Brave New World, Handmaid's Tale.
Lottery's the one where it's a short. It's like it's an anthology, not like a whole book. It's the one where they pick their names out of the box, and then like one family gets selected, and then the family like all pulls a card, and whoever's holding the stick is the one who gets stoned.
No, I haven't.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's pretty much the whole story.
Oh, okay. What's the purpose of the stoning?
So that everybody was a part of it.
Some cult shit. Okay.
Everybody had to throw a rock. And I think the whole point was like, we can't, we can't sustain everybody. We have to keep our population limited because we don't have all these resources was the premise. And so like, you just end a bloodline.
That sounds a little...
Every, once a year.
This sounds like some Thanos-ass half-baked shit.
It was very aggressive, but I do remember that the story got the point across very clearly.
Yeah.
Well, you tell them that their story has a very blunt and dumb point, and that they should try harder. D.
The story is meant for not adults. It's meant for younger adults to like analyze and say, well, okay,
Cult.
here's why.
It's a cult. Has that ever actually happened in human history? Now I'm just curious.
I mean, people getting stoned, yeah. it happens all the time.
No, the like drawing lots to take someone out. Humans seem to be generally like get away from me, self-preserving.
I'm just laughing at like what getting stoned happens all the time, and I'm like, people love getting stoned. Reminds me of a scene from American Dad where they're in Saudi Arabia, and this person says to Haley, like, "What are you doing? Do you want to get stoned?" And she's like, "Oh my God, yes."
And they're like, that's not the stoned we meant. Oh. Why didn't you say so?
It's like, I haven't gotten high since I got to this country. And it's like that. Oh, No, that is not what we mean. Like, you want a cheering crowd to throw rocks at you until you die? What? No.
No.
Alright, let's see if my stupid little tank works. That didn't go well. I thought I designed... There we go. So it's not as perfect as I'd like, but at least chunks of the front of the turret can survive a 90 mil shell.
Okay.
Listen,
Just
Hear me
some.
out. When it comes to survivability, either it is or it is.
hear me out. It's a 15-ton vehicle. You'll take what you can get.
There are two sides to the coin.
It's a 15-ton vehicle that'll go 30 miles an hour off-road and is, like, barely taller than a dude. Actually, I think it's shorter than a dude standing. Yeah, it is shorter than a man standing. Like, this is a little sports car of a light tank. I can't even fit a third man in the turret. There just isn't the room. The breach would be tearing his head off.
That's
Also,
fine.
I've managed to mount a 90 mil gun in this fucker, so it'll kill just about
Ocean
anything.
approves.
Hang on, let me stream.
Oh, this internet will not support that. It's barely supporting this phone call.
Oh. Well then, let
But
me
you
take
can put a little screenshot in the chat.
Yeah. It's a very tiny vehicle.
The tiniest of vehicles.
Oh, I love it. It's so cute.
Look at how look at these people crammed in there.
Where?
That's right. You said the new thing is like they actually have people placement inside.
Oh
I
yeah.
played that game for a little while. I think it looks much better now than it did.
Oh yeah. Amos just put a lot of work into it. For the chat, I am playing Sprocket. It's a game where you build little tanks and try to pass challenges with them.
A little shameless plug there. Can't hurt.
The most
What?
shameless.
He made a good game. He deserves to get more people to buy it. I'll fight you, Morningstar. We already know this.
We already know this.
Oh god.
Unfortunately, we've also learned that fight back, and at seemingly much less detriment.
Listen. Sometimes I don't even know I'm fighting.
Here's the thing, right? Is I do the same thing to all three of you. I do it to Ball, I do it to you, and I do it to Odin. But Ball and Odin have... Maybe it's the fact that they are both in the military, I don't know. They usually shut it down pretty fucking quick. And you just let it ride, so it's really, really difficult. It takes a lot of self-control to not fuck with you.
Listen, it doesn't help that the social part of my brain is just broken.
I know. I'm sorry.
Insert joke of autism's a superpower. I might not be able to navigate people, but I can picture the systematic flow of a small kitchen and save you money on resource flow. Just never have me talk to people.
Money.
Here's
Oh.
one thing. Here's one thing you can do. 95% of the time, if you're getting frustrated or pissed off or irritated or whatever at a conversation that you and I are having, if you say, stop rage baiting me, I'll cut it out. All right?
No, that's fair.
All the rage bait.
Problem
That's
is-
the safe word.
Most of the time, it's me just getting confused and frustrated, and I don't even realize I sound pissed off.
Yeah. And if I'm not rage baiting you, if we're having a go at it, then I'll let you know. But 95% of the time, you can just tell me to stop, and I'll I can cool the jets a little bit. You care about some of these things a lot more than I do. I have no stake in whether or not Porsche built a tank and did it well.
I was telling Keith, like, look, at the end of the day, who gives a shit about some dead kraut in his tank? Like, my concern was, like, that conversation went really sideways, and I learned from Keith it was going sideways to you guys as well. So the main question is, you know, just finding ways to effectively signal to each other, this is going sideways and I don't want it to.
We should just head this one off at the pass here. It was fun while it lasted. So the safe words are stop rave baiting.
Pineapples.
Yeah, and
Pineapples.
you can always just tell me, like, and Keith has learned this, it's just, Suri, you sound shitty, or you sound like you're trying to start a fight, is that what you want? Which point my answer 99% of the time is going to be, what? No, I'm confused and frustrated. What is happening?
I was like,
I'll tell you if I want to fight.
I'm glad we can still be friends.
No friendship allowed. If you show up at my front door, I'm shooting you.
That's what a good friend does.
Oh.
Preferably with a shot of whiskey. do.
Oh my god. That would... So you'd have to make it clearly a little novelty gun, but it's like shoots a shot of whiskey into your mouth and you load it with little shotgun-style cartridges. You need to make it not any real caliber. Like, you need to make it so you can't load a real bullet in this thing. But...
Somebody would make one.
Well, at that point, we're not liable because they went out of their way.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of liability here. I'm not thinking about preventing, like, deaths. I just don't personally want to get in trouble.
Corporate America.
So what you do is it has a little spiker at the top, right? And like a push piston on the back. So you load it in like a shotgun shell. And there's shots. They're those little shooters. So you have a design where it loads in, and when you cock it, it pierces the top of the shooter, and then the piston locks in the back. When you pull the trigger, it crushes it. It squeezes it flat and shoots the shooter into their mouth.
Yeah, that sounds feasible.
Yeah.
You know, I also think it's important. We can't use plain liquid because it needs to be able to have mass and keep its structure. So it's shooting jello shots into your mouth.
That might be a little chunky. I mean, hey, that's what you're into. I'm not gonna stop you.
Well, that's why we'd have to spend about 1.5 million on R&D for the consistency of the jello.
Nut
Right, but then
consistency.
you run into the issue that they can only use your shots. They should be able to take
Exactly.
any basic shooter.
Yeah.
Right? This is quality of product versus maximum, right?
Oh, there has to be a big warning: no glass shooter bottles.
Well, yeah, right. But like any standard size shooter should be able to fit in it as long as it's not glass.
Yep.
You're too nice. They need to buy our packages, and when they buy it at the checkout counter for like $10, because we make this out of cheap plastic, then it comes with like 6 shots. And then there's the refill packages. I'm talking about we're getting drunk people at the counter of the liquor store making impulse purchases.
Okay, then hear me out. It's disposable. It comes with the 6-shooter, right? Or whatever we decide, lever action bullshit. It comes with a 6-shooter and then it's disposable. And next time you come to the store, you buy a new one.
Oh yeah. I'm saying we make this out of the cheapest possible plastic. I want Chinese products to look at us in envy of how cheap we made it.
No, that's how you get a recall from toxic materials.
Okay, well, we find the cheapest possible non-toxic. I want this thing to break when you look at it wrong, and then I want to scam these people. They're already drunk. They're not going to remember to call the number.
the number that's printed out is so tiny at the very bottom of the package. It's not on any of the notes.
You get a
inside the
lawyer to
package.
tell us the smallest possible font.
That's when you get screwed because a wedding party or something orders an entire crate of them. Like half of them don't work.
Yeah, but people are already so drunk and miserable at weddings. They're not going to pay attention to the fact that, like, the little bag gift sucks.
I don't know. You think so?
I don't. I think you'll get that one bridesmaid who's like, I ordered these specifically for my very best friend in the whole world who's getting married, and on the most important day of her life, your product sucked.
At that
And
point,
I'm
I'm
doing it
going.
for $30 million.
Yeah.
At that point, we need
Checks
to
out.
authorize our tech support people to be like, I'm sorry, you saw $8 a unit that comes with 6 shots, and you thought you were getting quality? No, we'll take you to court. We have more money than you. We're a private corporation. We're going to sit you in front of a jury, and you get to explain to them your reasoning for why you thought an $8 plastic disposable shooter was going to be of quality.
Because you said it was when you put it on the shelf. There's a lot of corporations that have played that game and lost.
Yeah. There's the whole reasonable pursing clause.
A reasonable assumption
Yeah.
that because you put it on the shelf, it works.
Now, see, that's where you got to make the package like clearly like joke packaging.
That's why a lot of those like weird knickknacks when we were kids you don't see anymore.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
the other half of the reason is because most of them were extraordinarily dangerous. Like, I don't know, lawn darts.
Lawn darts are amazing. They are an American treasure and should be brought back.
I'm not saying you're wrong. However, there's a reason half.
What I'm hearing is that I was born in the wrong era. If I'd been
Kids
born
kept getting
20 years
unauthorized
earlier,
piercings.
In the chest.
everyone knows the best lawn dart game is you stand back to back, and you take turns throwing the lawn dart up straight up as high as you can, and whoever doesn't move the longest wins.
That's a real game. People play that.
No, I know. That's why I
I
said
mean, we
it's the
don't play
best.
it with lawn darts anymore, but people still play the game.
Heard the best way to play that's with a grenade.
Hold on. Pause. That's like playing Russian roulette with a semi.
No, it's gotta be like a 233 like 30 mil, like the one you tunk up in the air, you know.
No,
So you have enough time to think about it before taking off at a full sprint.
it has to be an impact trigger explosive somehow.
Yeah, well, that's what a 2G3 is. The little 40 mils,
Yeah.
arms after 40 meters. So if you shot it straight up, it'd go up for a while. You'd have probably a solid 4 or 5 seconds to run.
Yeah, you get a chance to think about it. You can clear that distance.
Unfortunately, the effective kill radius of one of those is still 15 meters.
You don't think you could get 45 feet in 4 to 5 seconds? Look, I'm fat. I think I can make it.
I know I could.
See?
I'm not going to think about it. As soon as that thump goes, that's a starting gun. This isn't a game anymore. This is the Olympics, and I'm...
See? I won. I just have to wait until you start
Gavin
running.
Cole. Unfortunately, Bob here, who's been in for 15 years, both of his knees are shot, and he's 260 pounds on a 5'4" frame. And he's not making it.
He shouldn't be playing that game to begin with. He should just paid and walked off. That's on him.
Well, we were all drunk, and I thought it'd be funny to watch him run. I could sell that to Sergeant Major for $5. Sergeant Major, have you seen him run? It's really funny. But the problem is making him run. This got him to run.
That's our major. I thought you're on a no running profile.
See, we're playing a game. No, don't tell him about the game. God damn it.
I don't remember what I was watching. It was some military like influence or something, and there's like all those people on the no run profile are running just fine on field day, and I was like, oh, putting people on blast. I was like, that's fucked up. They didn't say they can't run. They just can't run 2 miles in the provided time. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. All right. Seasoned.
Oh no, I added 0.8 of a ton, and now I only go 27 miles or 28 miles an hour over rough ground instead of 30.
You monster.
Ow.
Whatever will your crews do?
Lose their track, apparently. Jesus.
Well, it's okay, because War Thunder says that's a 30-second fix.
Could you imagine if, like, your crew had to actually get out and change the fucking track link or whatever?
That's where you just have people waiting.
Fine.
People's entire thing would be waiting till you get tracked and get out, and then just lighting into you.
Yeah, with the machine gun.
That is exactly what Hella Loose would be if it had more realistic. Actually, that's what Hella Loose is right now. Fuck it, because you still have to get out to repair.
Yeah.
People absolutely follow those tanks around and just wait for somebody to come over and repair.
Apparently they're dropping a new one where the artillery's not fixed anymore.
Really?
Yeah. It's in testing right now, but
How the fuck does that work?
I think
Tow
it'll
it around?
yeah, I think it'll be something where you go and drop it off or build it.
It might have been Hell Let Loose. I don't remember which game it was, but it's one where you actually, like, run artillery the way you would in real life. And you have to dial it in and to get into your grid squares and everything. And a friend was playing it and came across was on a European server and came across a actual Bundeswehr like mortar team who all knew each other in real life and were playing the game as a mortar team, and were taking it very seriously. Yelling at random kids like, no, get out your map, tell me the grid square. Okay, is it hitting near it? Okay, tell me on or tell me how much it's off.
It might have been Arma during the anti-Stasi.
Yeah,
I
that
just
sounds about right.
Because like it was just some very angry Germans, and the little English they told me that they were all Bundeswehr guys.
Well, okay, hold on now. Because were they actually angry, or were they just speaking German?
Probably a little of A, a little of B.
That sounds good enough for government word.
Germans, here's the thing. Germans usually are a little bit angry.
I would be too if I was, sounding like that all the time. That's a completely valid and proportionate response.
Ask Germans why they're angry and they get madder. Why are you angry? I am not angry. Oh, you sound angry, friend. I am not angry! Whoa, calm down.
Oh. Well, you put a little 1945 into that one, huh?
God.
I think I heard some of that. Say it again. I think I'll smell the ashes.
Jesus Christ.
Is that the drums? Is that Erica playing in the background? Erica. Is it Deutschland über alles? Oh, no, sorry, you can't say that, can you?
That's not the line they changed after the war. There's some line in the middle that they changed after the war, but otherwise they've had the same national anthem.
They hum. They don't say the last stanza. They just hum it.
What was the last stanza?
Germany overall.
Yeah, that would do it. So yeah, we probably should probably do something about that line. I think we got a little over enthusiastic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, unity, right, and freedom. Deutschland, the fatherland overall. that might do it.
Something like that.
I've made too good of a tank. I can't find. There's not a built-in tank in the game that can easily fuck with me. Because I'm lightweight enough that I can have lots of them. I have a 90mm gun, which can kill basically everything. I just copied the American 90. And I'm highly mobile. So it's just... Yeah.
You just be out there killing shit.
And now I've made the frontal armor able to withstand a 90mm gun. So...
Yeah, the problem with playing games like that, at least to me, was always that, like, once you do good enough, there's nothing else around you, and it just kind of feels empty, you know?
Like, these things are easy to kill from the side, but they're also highly mobile, and you have to fight, like, 12 of them. So how are you going to get on the side, you know?
Yeah,
And then if I
it always
fight...
feels like a little bit of a hollow victory.
Yeah. Which, I'm cheesing it with spaced armor arrays and fucking mid-war tech, so...
It was a cold and it was a broken hallelujah.
And you're done.
I mean, at this point, now that I've perfected my little light tank, I need to start building things for fun, like a super heavy. I gotta make a tank that has a big, like, that carries two, like, 6-inch guns. It's very funny. Hamish posted kind of a sarcastic thing where he was just like, people keep asking me for bigger engines or the ability to put multiple engines, and I'm saying stop trying to build land ships.
Never. Give me my land ship. I want to see what it do.
It will work. Somebody just has to do it right.
Like, let me put 4 V16s into this thing and put 6-inch guns on it.
Right? Why do you care?
All I'm saying is, if we keep trying it, eventually somebody will get it right.
Eventually.
Well, I made another very adorable vehicle. I'll share it.
Do. Alright. It's 9:30. We'll talk to you later, chat. Stay saucy. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, send a video. Bye.
Bye-bye.